Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's the meeting of the Library Board, July 13th, 2020. We have a proper quorum has been determined. We're going to ask for a motion from the members to defer our approval of minutes for the January 13th, 2020.
I'll make a motion to defer until next library board meeting.
Have a motion to defer. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So ordered. We will defer till September 14th. Next, on the order of business, we will turn it over to the library director.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. The first order of business we have are decisions and issues that were on our January 2020 meeting. And the reason the minutes needed to be deferred is we had incomplete minutes. With all of the COVID going on, Mary felt like she had finished the minutes. I read them. I thought they were finished. Got them together and they were not. So we want to make sure that you have the complete minutes. The following items do need resolving, and they will be placed on the September board meeting because I need to get some information to you all. Was going to get that packet to you before I went out for surgery, and that did not happen. So I will distribute some information very soon so that you will have that for the September meeting. One of the decisions that need to be made is revising the former full-time Assistant Director Circulation Supervisor position. That's something that I would like to take a really close look at to see what would work best for our library and the staff that we have. Something that would be a beneficial to the director. And so I'd like to just really take a good look at that. I'll be sending some ideas to you that I've had, and then I'd like for you to give me some good responses and some constructive criticism of what would work better, you think. The second issue is assigning PD. This came from Chairman Jones. I like this term, PD, position descriptions. Similar to a job description, but at this time, all of my part-time people are library clerks. And so all of their job description says the same thing. Even if you're in the children's department or you work reference or you have extra duties, it all says the same thing. With position descriptions, it gives a little more detail of that specific position, what's expected, and I just think it's a great idea, and I would like for us to try that out. The third is revision of the minor children in the library policy. Right now, ages 10 and under need to have an adult. We push that ages 12 and under need to have an adult. And so that's something that we need to get in writing, have a motion on, so that I can say this was board approved and we have a good solid policy. I've been pulling policies from other libraries, and we need a really good solid policy in place. Yes,
Donna,
sir.
how old do you have to be to check out material?
5 years old.
Okay, well, we definitely don't want to.
I know I had looked into the issue just to see what other libraries had in place, and
Okay.
a lot of them did have 12 and under needed to be supervised. So I'm agreeable to raising that age by a couple years at least.
Okay. Sounds good. And this is something that we'll bring to the board, and on September, we'll try to have, you will have had enough information by then. I'll get that to you, and you all are doing research. Then we can make some motions and maybe get a policy in place, a real good solid policy.
Okay, let's also tag on there, not with this
Okay.
particular policy, but what do you mean by 5? When I said how old?
5 years old is when they can get a library card and can check out materials. The parent has to have a library card.
Okay, okay.
And yes,
Yeah.
and so the parent signs the child up. If you're under the age, if you're 5 to 17, a parent has to be with you or a guardian when you receive a library card to take responsibility
Okay.
for the items that are checked out.
That sounds a little better.
Like
Right.
a sub-account
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the main one.
It's just that I didn't, I don't, because there would be no ID.
Right.
I could get some other child's ID, bring a child in with me, check out the 15 items and never show up again.
Right,
So,
right. So, yes, that
so is
has
that
to have
parent's picture, when we get into our pictures, the parent picture will be will be
correct.
identified with okay,
Yes, and we link them.
okay.
On the parent's card, it will say responsible for, and when we pull up the account, so-and-so child, so-and-so
Okay.
child. On that child's card, it will say responsible to, and it will have the mother or the father or the guardian's information on it.
Sounds much better.
I know, and I can see where the vision of this little 5-year-old coming in saying, I need to give me a library card. You know?
No, I just didn't want someone to get the card
Sure,
and then get stuff and have someone else responsible for it.
absolutely. And along with that, ages 5 to 17, we call them ST1, Student 1, and Student 2. When they become 12, they're a Student 2. When they're 5 to 11, they're a Student 1. ST1s and ST2s cannot check out R-rated material or anything that we considered limited circ, which is some of our adult graphic novels that are very graphic. So we have a way that we're not censoring, we're just helping make some good decisions.
Being responsible.
Right, being responsible, and the parent, if the parent wants the child to have a particular thing, they can check it out on their card. So,
Okay.
that's how we work that. Any other questions about any of those? Okay, status of the library. Currently, the building remains closed to the public. We are doing curbside service, and I've put down some statistics here. These statistics are from June 1st, when we first started curbside, through July 12th. I can run through them if you'd like me to, or you can read them. Which would you prefer, Alderman Jones, Chairman Jones?
How many do we have?
There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 10 items there.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we had
I
1,000.
guess it's as many as right here in front of me.
Correct. I tried to lay it out today because I knew that we would have a couple of people who were not here that would be easier for them to pick up the agenda and kind of know where we were going.
Disregard, I wasn't
No, that's
paying
fine.
attention.
No
I'm sorry.
problem. 1,064 items were checked out. 82 items were renewed. 117 ebooks, e-audios were checked out. Now this is great. 6 new library cards were issued. Usually they have to come inside, show us their ID, we go through all the process, but we had several people who have just moved here and wanted to get a card. So what we would do is I would mask up, I would go outside and take the application, they would fill it out, I'd look at their ID, we'd come back in, I'd get their card and take it back out to them. Some we did over the phone, and we put a note in there that we need to see their driver's license when we open back up. They were very happy. I checked today, and all 6 of our new cards have been checking out items. So that was another little extra service that I was glad we were able to give. We made craft kits since we were not doing summer reading. We wanted to get something out for the children, so several of our staff members got together and made really cool craft kits. We have given out 248 children's craft kits, 46 teen craft kits, 48 crochet kits. There have been 2,435 website catalog searches. This is how they can put items on reserve. And there's been 1,204 mobile catalog searches. So we feel that even with the building being closed, we still are offering a service to our community.
I've got another question, but this is to the vice chairman, or maybe you could answer that.
Okay?
How far are we out to being able to send that ID in and do online applications for cards? There have been a couple of things that I've gotten online, and I just had to take a picture of well, they're doing checks like that, so I know
Right.
do we need different
We have the
capability?
Capability now.
Right.
I think it's more of us saying we want to do that and testing it,
Sure.
testing it first and then us saying we want to do it would probably be the proper way to do it. But it's built in, we've looked at that when we got Atrium, the new software, and there is an online module
Okay,
that's built in there. I
Okay.
think it's more of do we want to go there, and see how it actually works with, like you said, the picture, and the documentation to show, either the driver's license and
Right.
the letter, or the, what is it, one form of
Of-
letter
of
or
current
something?
residence.
Current residency,
Mhm.
to make those proofs and stuff like that, so.
Okay.
But yeah, it's there, and we can use it.
can we
Yes.
can we go ahead and put that down for September
Yes,
so we
sir.
can discuss it, and maybe some other questions come up from the board?
Okay.
So online library card applications. Got it. Okay, moving on down to the library projects that we have been doing since we have been closed to the public. We had 5 automatic hand sanitizer stations purchased, and if you'll look at your pictures, you will see Miss Lorna with the shorter one. She laughed at me because I said, Lorna, I need you to stand by the short sanitizer. She said, it's because I'm short? No, you're in the children's department. We were able to lower the sanitized stations, and then there are 4 of the ones that we left tall. They're automatic. You put your hand under, they work, and they have sign holders above that we can put a sign on there to encourage people to be sure and sanitize their hands, or another little happy note of some sort. So very pleased with those. Those are something that we will continue to use that's needed to be in our library. We'll have one at the very front door, and then we'll have the rest scattered throughout the library.
Now, is this some of the stuff that you were able to get with, like, the grant money or
Yes.
something like that? I remember hearing.
Yes, we were able to get $750 from the grant. And some of that money went toward the hand sanitizing stations. Some went to the hand dryers, the automatic hand dryers. We currently have the one that you have to push and then put your hands under. So I purchased 2 that you would put your hands in. We're gonna see how well they work, and then we're gonna purchase another one for the children's restroom.
The only question, which I didn't, they were still back there in packing. As far as that base, do we have something that could make that a little bit more stationary in case?
It is very heavy. I'd love for you to come over and pick it up. We've tried it. I've tried
Okay,
pushing on
okay.
it. And the one in the children, if you will notice, we have it placed up against the counter. I think that will be the one that might be pushed more. And the other ones, we can position next to desk
Okay,
or
that's
up
fine.
against a wall. No,
They-
that's a very good question.
No, when we looked at it, the base I wasn't able to, they were all
Yes,
piled in
right.
there, and
They
I
were
wasn't
still in
able
a
to see
box.
those. Okay.
But they're pretty sturdy. Okay, plexiglass shields, we had them permanently mounted at circulation, reference, and children's desk areas. We felt, again, this is something that we would like to have long-term, not just for COVID-19, but for flu, sneezing, just droplets itself. And the staff feels very good about that. There are pictures on the second page of the picture. that show you circulation. Circulation is still being worked on, but it's coming along. All the staff feels very comfortable. We've had them go behind them. We've had them, check out to each other to make sure that it's high enough to get the books under, but not so high that it's putting them at risk or the patrons at risk. We decided at the children's to also go ahead and put, even though they do not check out, they get a lot of questions. So we have it at the children's desk and along the side, because over to the side where you see Laverne the giraffe, we have people who would stick their heads over and talk to our staff. And this still makes it very friendly and welcoming, but a protection. And then the last page shows you reference. Reference is totally complete. And we did it all the way around. And we also did the back side, because we would have people who were coming to get their prints that would lean over that way. And so we just put a little barrier there. And again, we kind of laughed and said we feel like bank tellers. But once you get behind there and get used to it, it's really good. And if you notice in the pictures, it's pretty clear. I was impressed with that. I didn't want them to be behind a foggy shield. So it seems like it worked well. Moving on, our outside trim painting is completed. The painters power washed the walls and around all of the areas above. They power washed the railing in the back. We now need to come in and power wash the concrete and get that looking really good. But it looks amazing. I did not realize how faded our windows were, especially on the side facing towards City Hall. That's where we get the sun in the morning, and they were very, very faded.
Surprised you didn't have pictures of that.
We have Stormwater repaired and improved a drainage area behind the library. One thing that I'm trying to do is take a walk around and look at everything, make sure that everything is safe and everything is upkept. The building is 18 years old now, and it needs a little TLC, and now's the time to make sure we have everything in good maintenance and just keep going forward. Stormwater did an excellent job with that. We have new floors for the staff kitchen, the staff restroom, the children's restroom, and the men and women's public restrooms. And I think you saw pictures of those on page 1. If you need to remember what they used to look like, I have pictures on my phone I can show you, but you may not want to look at them. The floors look amazing, and they have some good grip to them. Chairman Jonas, I think you walked on them and felt like the grip was really good at that point. So I have mopped them already, and they look good. They're easy to mop, easy to clean. Okay, moving on. We have been preparing for social distancing and the grab-and-go concept when the library reopens to the public. For the grab-and-go concept, when we first open, and we don't know how long this period will be, we are encouraging people to kind of have in mind what they would like to come in to do. There will be no computers at very first, no sitting and looking at newspapers or the magazines. The chairs have been moved to discourage just sitting down. We're going to encourage them to come in, check out items, and then head on their happy way and then come back again. We would like to make that period as short as possible depending on the safety of our case numbers. And the social distancing, we will be using stanchions to help with social distancing, with checking out. If we need to, we'll do arrows up and down the aisles, but I think we will be okay. It's just going to depend on how many people we have, and we may have to watch and get a cutoff of so many people in the library at a time. That's another one of those fly by the seat of our pants and see what happens. And I'm pretty good about changing gears midstream and, okay, we gotta do it this way. And the staff is very flexible. So, any questions on any of that?
When do you expect to be reopening?
That's a question we still do not know. We have a committee that meets here at City Hall. We've met several times to discuss the numbers, to discuss what's going on. We know that the library will not open until City Hall opens. And preferably, the library will not open until Metro opens, because we are so close to Metro. We have so many Davidson County patrons that if we were to open and offer computers and things of this sort, we would be just overrun. And not that we don't want them, but we just got to be careful, and we got to open in a very careful way. So the date is still up in the air. I truly do not know. At one point, we thought June 1st was going to be our opening date. But as soon as we find out, as soon as a decision is made, you all will be the first to know. We purchased keyboard covers for patron use. These are washable for several times and then can be tossed, disposable. They're pretty good. I meant to bring one tonight. I apologize for that, to let you see it. But that was another item that we were able to get through the CARES grant. So that was a blessing there. We are implementing an improved sanitizing and cleaning schedule and routine. We want to make sure that when we do get to the point of computers, even though we have keyboard covers, that we are sanitizing in between. I know it's been brought up that maybe we make appointments, or we have time frames that after this person is off, no one can get on for like 15 minutes in order for us to spray the sanitizer, let it sit for the 3 to 5 minutes that it needs to sit, wipe off, and get ready again. So we keep going over our cleaning schedules, the public restrooms. That's a concern. But I think we have in mind how we're going to make sure that we're constantly going in and gloving up with protective gear and cleaning. And one thing I wanted to say about the plexiglass shield, when we do open, when our patrons are in there and our staff is behind the plexiglass shield, they can take their mask off. But if they come away from behind the plexiglass shield and need to come out to help a patron, we will be wearing masks when we're in close proximity with people. They currently mask up and glove up to take items out to curbside. Any questions about those things?
I was wondering, are you going to require patrons to wear masks when they come in?
We are going to highly encourage it. Highly encourage it. I have started buying up disposable masks so that those who do not have them, we will be able to provide it for them. But yes, we are highly encouraging masks. And we will be highly encouraging our vulnerable people and our elder generation to try to come in as soon as the library opens. We kind of laugh and say Laverne doesn't wake up until about 10:30 or 11. So when we open at 9, if they would like to come on in, that would be a good time when there's not a lot of people. So, but yes, we are going to highly encourage it.
Donna, one other thing that you might need to look into before you purchase any of them, the
Okay.
state has many more
Okay.
masks that they are giving away, because they, B&A are giving away, they're getting, but they've got some of their little stamps on there, but
Okay,
the state still has them with the TN, the black ones that we were giving out.
right.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we had many boxes left when we got through
Okay,
giving them out. So before we purchase any,
sure.
let's try to get those out of the way.
That sounds
Because
great.
again, those are not, they're not hazardous.
Right,
Most people, because of the word came out, they think that they're not hazardous, they'll be fine to wear.
right.
So let's get that first before we spend
That sounds great.
anything.
And most of the staff have their own mask. One of our staff member, Carol, made a lot of masks. And so they have particular cloth ones that they wear and take home and wash and wear another one. And I like to keep extras there in case they forget it or, so yes, that's great.
Donna, do you think, you ever thought about doing anything like some of the grocery stores and things did, where they would say, like, the elderly or certain ages, you can only come in, you can come in from 9 to 11 or something,
Right.
and then after that, open it up to when all this happens? I don't know, it's just something to consider, you know, for those people that may be more compromised.
I think that's a great idea, and we're gonna continue doing curbside also for those who would
those
prefer
people.
not to come in. I was gonna play that by ear just to see how many we have come in right at 9 o'clock. If we're getting a lot of people in, then we may
Have to do that.
backtrack and say, this is gonna be the time for our vulnerable. But yes, it's a great idea how they do that. And I take advantage of the Sams for the older people on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 7 o'clock, so I use my age there.
One of the other things that I also heard you say that I'd like for you to put on next meeting's agenda so we can discuss it
Sure.
further is, I mean, I don't know if some people might, well, we need to discuss it, but it might be strenuous for some people, but I would prefer the appointment for at least the computers. I mean, if they're gonna come in and they're gonna use the computers, that way, if you have someone set an appointment and they want from 9, how long do you get to be on the computer?
Now, before COVID, we were doing 2 hours. We're gonna bump that down to like 1 hour to
Okay.
start with, just to see usage.
I would like to see if we could, if they could call in and we make the schedule like 1 hour and 15 minutes. That way, they'll get their hour, 15 minutes to clean, and get set for the next person. I apologize, I'm supposed to be taking my medicine right now, but I'll wait.
If you need to go do that, please do.
No, it's at the house.
Oh, okay, no. I'll hurry.
But yeah, we'll just, I think
Okay.
that, you know, that'll give us a chance to clean it. And the next person, if we stagger it like we do with the appointments,
Right.
doctor's appointments, stagger it a little bit, but we're not gonna make them come in early and sit 30 minutes
Right.
before we see them, like
Right.
the doctors.
We will start looking into that and see what we can do.
Okay.
That sounds good. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the change in room space. As you remember, when we first began, we had the genealogy room. And it was a great room at the time when a lot of people were doing the hands-on genealogy, looking through the books, things of this sort. We had a genealogy class. And then Ancestry.com came and other online ways came, and that kind of went by the wayside. So at that time, I felt like our teens really needed a space that we could dedicate to them. The goal was to have a space where they could come in, maybe hang out with some friends, maybe do some homework, then also have it for when we have crafts. That didn't quite work out like we wanted to. Our teen population dwindled down very, very rapidly. So at this point, we are looking at converting the teen room to the Laverne History Room. What we would do with that is display the City of Laverne and Rutherford County memorabilia that we have, and we have a tremendous amount. We have the twinning of the cities, our sister city in France. We have lots of memorabilia from there. And we would display and have available for patrons to review the numerous notebooks that was compiled by our Laverne historian Margie Murphy. We would make the computer available that's there in genealogy, in the room right now, for patrons to use, library edition Ancestry.com. would love to possibly purchase an inexpensive little copier that if they see something in Margie Murphy's notebooks that they would like to copy, that they could make a copy of. And so this is just where we're going with that. Any comments? And Chairman Jones, I want to give it out to him. This was a great idea.
One thing about it, I'm a little nervous about, I'd rather one of your people be in there and get the copies for them instead of.
Okay.
Because that can easily, she's got a lot of wonderful stuff, and
Right.
she's got old
Yes.
paperwork, and if they pick it up, they can rip it. I'd rather have someone, I mean, if they can request and just
Right.
do it that way. Most people probably gonna take a picture with their phone,
Okay.
or hopefully.
Hadn't thought about
They'll
that.
do that. But I wouldn't want them, because I've seen some of the stuff she has.
Right.
Well, everybody, if you've been to the old timers,
Yeah.
I'd hate for someone to rip something
Sure.
by accident, just, or get oil on it and distort it or whatever.
And we have a very nice copier printer there in the computer lab
Yeah.
that we can have a sign for them to request, and then a staff member can take that item and copy and print it for them. And of course, they would be charged the
Yeah.
10 cents for the paper.
Yeah.
So, yes, that sounds good. And that's about all I have for tonight. Do you all have any questions or comments about any of the above, or?
Okay, for those of you who, I just want to make sure that I want to let everyone know I wasn't being rude. I was on my phone just then because I was trying to find a picture. I think I sent it to you. I was trying to find a
Yes.
picture of the piano that Chris Clark donated. And I just wanted y'all to see it, but, I mean, I'd be better with a hammer and chisel the thing out before I can get it on this phone.
I can
Once you
I
move
can
it,
pull
you
it
can't
up.
find it anymore.
Here
But
we
it's
go.
it's a beautiful piano, and that's, again, our fire chief donated it to us, and we're gonna be moving that into that room. We're gonna have a lot of things on the, we're gonna have a lot of things on the next agenda that we really need y'all to look at and give us some input on it, because we want to see how y'all feel about it. I don't believe in doing anything unilaterally when you've got a board, so I'd like to bring it before everyone and discuss it. I mean, there are a lot of times I'm gonna be over, I go over and Don and I sit down and we discuss things, but I don't like to make, unless it's urgent, I don't like to make unilateral decisions. I like to make sure everyone has a chance to give some input on it. But I thought it would be, when I called him that night, when he sent out the email, he was asking anybody that wanted it, so I had to make a unilateral decision there, because that thing wouldn't have stayed there very long.
That's a good move,
Yeah,
though.
that wasn't gonna stay there very long, so I had to make a move on that one. If I had to put it in my house, I was gonna get that, 'cause it's a beautiful piano.
It will look very nice in the room. We've already kind of looked where would be a good place to put it.
Okay, the next thing is, again, our next meeting is gonna be September 14th, unless something comes up, and, which I doubt very seriously that we'll ever have to have an emergency meeting for anything. Our next meeting is gonna be September 14th. At this time, I would like to turn it over to the board members for anyone to, for discussion. Also, before I turn it over for comments, I'd like to make sure that we, even though she's a little handicapped now with her vision, make sure she gets on there for the minutes as an
Absolutely.
official,
I will
as
have
an
her on,
official
yes.
visit.
Miss Bridget.
Okay, next, we're gonna go with, go ahead. And
Well,
I'm sorry if I don't call your names, because I know your face.
I just want to say that it's good to see you back
Thank
after
you.
your surgery, and that you made a full recovery and are moving around well. And I'm very impressed with all the work that you and all the library staff members have been working on during this time.
Thank you.
And I'm excited about whenever we get to reopen the library.
Linda?
What she said. That's the exact thing I was gonna say.
Thank you.
Good to have you back.
I don't really have anything. It's good to be back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't have anything either.
All right, well, I guess I'll be the talkative one today. I want to go on the record as saying, I had a chance to walk out there and see what the stormwater did, and I think they did an excellent job. They really did an excellent job. And it just baffles me sometimes to think about how small this city is and the talent that we've got in this city. And I think that's something that needs to be said every time you stick a mic in front of me. I'll definitely give a thumbs up to the employees of this city, because I think they do a wonderful job. And just to think about the amount of gook that clogged up that line, and the water was backing up and everything, and you should go see it. It looks like a tomato
It's
garden.
fantastic.
It really looks great. It really looks nice. So the next thing that, if we get a concrete date, I'm thinking maybe the weekend or something, I'm serious, I will come out with my pressure washer.
Oh, okay.
And I'll take my little section, and I want to go ahead and do some of that. Because one thing about pressure washing, I did my house one time. It doesn't matter how hot it is, it's just like being on the beach.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna be fun. So with that being said, and with the, if there's no other, Bridget, do you need to say, you want to say anything? Okay, with that being said, I call this meeting adjourned.